Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instructions on completing the task at hand. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. In this video, I'm going to be dropping the oil pan on this 2008 S70. I pulled the cylinder head. There was a lot of sludge in the cylinder head. I pulled the oil drain bolt out of the oil pan. That hollow pointed at bolt was full of sludge, so I know there's sludge in the oil pan. I want to get that out because I don't want that breaking loose, clogging up the oil pickup and passages in the engine and giving the engine a quick death. Well, this is the oil drain plug. So you see the sludge on that. I can't imagine there's nothing in the pan, because technically that plug is in the pan. The hollow of that oil pan bolt had all that sludge in it. So let's get started. Doing this in the driveway, I put a wheel stop behind the back tires. Jacked the car up as high as I felt comfortable. Put jack stands under it. Next thing I'm going to do, I already drained the oil, removed the filter. I'm getting ready to remove this engine mount. So, pull those two 14mm, get those 17s out. I'm going to jack the engine up a little bit, and I'm going to rest the crank on a 2x4. On this side, so this engine mount's not in the way of that pan coming down. Remove the oil filter. Next, I'm gonna get this bolt off the bottom of the AC compressor, that 14mm, because it looks like the oil lines, the oil cooler lines, are screwed into the oil pan. So I'm gonna need to get that 10mm out of there, and this 14 is usually in the way of that. So I'm gonna get that out, get that 10mm out, and then jack up the engine a little bit, remove this mount, put that 2x4 support in there. This oil thermostat is attached to the oil pan, so I'm putting a T40 on it and removing it. Engine up a little bit with that jack and the 2x4. Lifted it up high enough to set this 2x4 under the crank. I got the oil thermostat out of the way. I got that mount out of the way. I pulled this bolt out of the power steering lines. Now I'm going to go around it, take all the bolts off. I'm going to try to keep these bolts in some kind of order so I could put them on where they came out at. Then I'm going to go up to the shop. And I know a couple of these bolts have a special sealant that they put in there since they're going through the oil pan into the block. But I'll cover that when I'm going back on. Let me go ahead and pull all the bolts out that I can find. I removed the transmission mount here, 18mm there, 14 there. I removed the bracket holding the power steering lines there. I removed this bracket holding the power steering lines here. 12mm in that T25. It's got a little nut on the back of it, but if you work it just right, you can get it out. And I got this bracket loose here, so I can move these power steering lines. So I'm going to try to pry these power steering lines on the other side of this bracket like this and drop that oil pan down. I actually strapped the lines over and out of the way. I got all the screws out and a couple of the bolts out. I got them all down there in order. I grabbed the back of the pan and I just gave it a little tug and it broke loose. So now I'm going to try to work it out, see if I can get it to drop all the way out and check the sludge in the bottom of this engine. Only got this pan down. I had to bend this a little bit, pan come down. So it's the bottom of the engine. It's a seal there, a seal there, and I'll check, see what seals are in the pan. I only see those two seals. So let me go get new gaskets for that. If you drop this tube, there's a seal in there. That wouldn't be a bad thing to do. So I'm gonna pull it 2 10mm bolts, drop that, then take this pan, clean all that sludge out of it. So nasty job. I opted for the Volvo gasket, oil pan gasket kit. I got most of the sludge out of here, not 100%, did get a lot out. I'm going to match up these two gaskets. I got to dig that seal out from the bottom of the engine. I need to clean out the bottom of the engine. The guys at Nordic helped me get this pan as clean as I do have it. The important thing, I got this pickup tube cleaned out. I'm going to wipe that out with a rag. Some water settled in there. Now this thing here is a pressure relief valve or something. If you have oil pressure problems and you drop that pan, you really should change this. That's about 50 bucks. I got a oil thermostat gasket. The one that's on there looked like it might have been pinched just a little bit. Got that to replace that. So I'm good to go on that. Let me get under the engine and start cleaning that up so I can reseal this panel. Now since I had so much sludge up in that head, the absolute best thing to do would be to spray all this out, make sure I don't have any sludge anywhere, pull the crank, pull the oil pump, and clean all that out, making sure there's nothing in that oil pump. However, I don't have a tool to get that crank off, so unfortunately I'm going to take my chances. So I'm going to dig that seal out of there. You see that flat orange seal for that oil tube, and I'm going to clean this off best I can. The engine came pretty clean. The pan had the glue on it. Get the little bit of glue off of that, wipe that down with acetone, roll that stuff on there, anaerobic seal it. I guess I'm probably going to put it on the pan. Be easier than putting it on the bottom of the engine. And put that on there and screw that in. But I got to make sure oil doesn't leak down on it like it has there. Now, fortunate for me, this engine's been sitting 3 days, so there's not much oil dripping down there. So it's going to be easy for me to get that cleaned up and dry. All these seals in this kit, these are the 3 that I need for the oil pan. This one doesn't look the right size, so it's going to be that one. Then you got turbo seals, oil dipstick tube seals, turbo return seals. So you got extra seals to do that other stuff right. So let me set these in place, get my oil tube up, break out my anaerobic sealant. This is my bottom of my engine cleaned up and ready for the oil pan. So no oil running out of that. Dried up, wiped up with acetone and a lint-free rag. This anaerobic sealant is at least a year old and it still looks good. So I'm going to start with it. Maybe I'll have enough to do this and then do the cam cover. So let's spread this out here and get this pan up. That coverage looks okay, but man, my roller ate up a quarter of my tube. I didn't torque my bolts, I just snugged them down real good. Then after I got all the pan bolts tightened, then I'm going to tighten these two 14s, put my oil lines back, put my transmission mount back. Then I need to get up top, work on the head up top. Actually, I'm going to jack this up, get this off of that 2x4 over there, put the oil cooler on there, put that mount back in place. So got a few more minutes down here, about 10-15 minutes. Pan on. I tighten those bolts down into the transmission 214. Then I tightened all these other bolts up here. Just make sure you don't strip them. I'm about to put the oil filter on. I'm going to fill it up with oil a few times. I came over here and I put this engine mount in place while the car was still on jacks. And then I mounted this oil thermostat on there. And then I lowered the engine down. Then I got my power steering line brackets in place. Next, I got to get that bolt into the oil pan from the oil cooler lines right there. Then I'll tighten that 14mm on that AC compressor. I don't see any leaks. That is good. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.